Okay, so let's talk about something. What if I told you that for a typical cleaning business, there's this silent leak, a constant drip that's siphoning over $12,000 a year right out of your profits? Now, this isn't some made up number. This is real cash just disappearing from your business. And today, we're going to find it and we're going to plug it for good. All right, let's dive in.
So here's where the problem really starts. You know the industry benchmark for supply costs in residential cleaning? It's a pretty tidy 4 to 5% of your total revenue. But for so many businesses, the reality is it's a lot closer to 8%. Now, that might not sound like a huge difference, but believe me, that little gap is where thousands and thousands of dollars in profit just vanish.
And this isn't just some abstract number. I want you to meet Sarah. She runs Sparkle Cleaning Services. Her business was losing almost exactly this amount, year in and year out. It's the kind of leak that's so quiet, you barely even notice it's happening until you look at your profit margins and you just can't figure out why you're struggling. Right, so this whole section is about that 8% profit leak. For Sarah's company, which was pulling in a solid $480,000 a year, that 8% for supplies was a massive drain. This wasn't just another line on a spreadsheet. It was the difference between her business just scraping by and actually truly thriving.
Now, I want you to be honest with yourself. Does any of this sound familiar? Because this was Sarah's world, constantly placing these reactive orders for supplies, her team grabbing the expensive, fancy-looking products for jobs that just didn't have the budget for it. And here's the big one, having no real idea which jobs were making her money and which ones were secretly costing her. It's a classic case of being busy, but not actually profitable.
So that brings us to the big question. Where is all this money actually going? I mean, it's not just one thing. It's a whole bunch of small compounding problems. The source material here breaks it down into 7 different types of waste, which let's get into right now. And this chart just illustrates the problem so perfectly. Look at this breakdown. You've got 2 main areas, overuse and premium products. And together, they're responsible for 65% of all the extra spending. Honestly, this is great news because it means we don't have to fix everything all at once. If we just focus on these 2 big culprits, we can plug the biggest parts of the leak fast. So let's talk about the number 1 offender here, overuse. It's responsible for a crazy 40% of all the waste. And it usually comes from that classic more is better mindset, right? Without really clear training on dilution ratios, teams can easily end up using 2, maybe even 3 times the amount of cleaner they actually need for a job. And every single extra drop is just pure profit going straight down the drain. Okay, and here's the second major leak, premium product waste. Just look at this comparison. You take a popular retail brand like Method, and it costs about 25 cents an ounce. Then you compare it to a standard, generic cleaner you'd get from a janitorial supply company, and it's less than 8 cents. For 95% of jobs, the performance is exactly the same, but the cost difference, it's just massive. Yeah, a 69% savings per ounce. Just let that sink in for a second. For Sarah's business, just making this one single change, swapping out that one all-purpose cleaner, saved her over $2,300 a year. That's not a guess. That's real cash that went straight back to her bottom line from one simple decision. Okay, so we've found the leaks. Now, how do we actually plug them? Well, the solution isn't about cutting corners or anything like that. It's all about gaining control through a really simple but powerful system that tracks what's really going on every single job. And here's how we build it out. It all boils down to these 3 steps. 1, you track your supplies in detail. 2, you analyze your costs on a per-job basis so you can see your true profitability. And 3, you use smart automation so simple tech does all the heavy lifting. This isn't about turning you into an accountant. It's about getting the right information right at your fingertips. Now, the most powerful part of this whole new system is leveraging technology. I mean, forget about tedious spreadsheets and all that manual data entry. We can literally go from hours of guesswork to instant, accurate insights. Just look at the difference here. The old way, messy, handwritten job sheets, trying to guess costs. It was slow, it was inaccurate, and let's be honest, nobody wanted to do it. The new way, your team just takes a quick before and after photo of their supply caddy for each job. That's it. Simple. So what happens to those photos? Well, this is where the magic happens. You can use a simple AI tool like Claude and give it a straightforward prompt just like this one. It looks at the images, calculates the exact amount of product used, figures out the cost, and checks it against your budget. It transforms a really painful manual task into a totally automated, data-driven process. So, what happens when you put this all into action? Let's go back to Sarah's story and see the incredible transformation her business, Sparkle Cleaning, went through in just 90 days. I mean, the results really speak for themselves. In just 3 months, Sarah took her supply cost percentage from that leaky 8% all the way down to a super healthy 5.4%. That's a drop of over $1,000 in spending every single month. And she did it without losing a single client or changing the quality of her service one bit. And when you stretch that out over a full year, it comes to $12,480. As Sarah said, this wasn't about finding new customers. This was about finding free money that was already hiding inside her own business. And what's so powerful here is that this is about so much more than just saving money on supplies. It's about control. Suddenly, Sarah knew exactly which clients were her most profitable. She could price new jobs with total confidence, and she could actually coach her team using real data, not just guesswork. And really, that's the big takeaway from all of this. That supply closet isn't just an expense line on your P&L. It's a hidden opportunity. It leaves us all with a simple but really powerful question to think about for our own businesses. What profit is hiding in your supply closet?